Hey, you. Ever get that feeling? Like you're trying to put together a jigsaw puzzle, maybe,
Mm,
but like half the pieces are gone and the picture on the box just seems wrong, almost mocking you.
yeah, that feeling. Or maybe you're staring down a big career change or hitting a rough patch in a relationship.
Or just feeling disconnected, like you're
Wow.
not quite where you're supposed to be. It can feel, well, really overwhelming, isolating even.
Definitely. That sense of things just not clicking into place is super common. And like the personal growth stuff we've been looking at suggests it really hits our well-being hard.
Right? Feeling unsupported, unsure.
Yeah,
It's easy to get stuck in that worry cycle, isn't it?
it really is.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today. We've been swimming in all this personal growth content, stuff focused on navigating exactly these feelings.
And one big idea kept popping up again and again.
Yeah, the importance of trusting the journey. This idea that even when things feel chaotic or uncertain, there's something else going on, a deeper flow.
Sort of like the universe has your back, you could say. Though that phrase means different things to different people, of course.
Absolutely. So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack that. What does it actually mean to trust the journey? How can it, ground us when everything feels shaky?
And how can we connect with that feeling of underlying support, whatever we call it?
Okay, let's start with that feeling of being stuck. I think pretty much everyone knows what that feels like.
Oh, for sure.
The job that's just a dead end, or a relationship that's stalled out, or even just feeling internally off kilter, disconnected from what matters.
Yeah, and that uncertainty, it can really knock you off balance.
It really can.
And often, it's not just one huge thing, right? Sometimes it's a bunch of little uncertainties, little ambiguities that just kind of wear you down.
Hmm.
And this constant questioning, this lack of a clear path, well, the sources we looked at are clear. It ramps up stress, anxiety, that general unease.
And when you're right in the middle of it, that voice inside your head can be pretty harsh.
Your own worst critic sometimes.
Totally. You start asking those awful questions like, why does this always happen to me? Or, seriously, when are things finally going to get better?
And those feelings, the frustration, the unfairness, they're completely valid. It's important to acknowledge that.
Yeah, definitely.
What's really interesting, though, from some of the psychological angles we explored, is how our reaction to the tough stuff can be just as impactful as the stuff itself.
How so?
Well, our resistance, the way we fight against what's happening, that internal battle, it can hardly make the discomfort worse, like trying to swim upstream in a really strong current.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
It feels like you're at this massive crossroads, right?
Hmm.
But every single pass looks foggy or blocked.
Yeah, and you're kind of frozen,
Ah,
paralyzed by the fear of choosing wrong.
or making things even worse.
Exactly. So you start questioning everything, past decisions, where you're headed now, even just your basic ability to handle it all.
Yeah, doubting yourself completely.
And it's right there in that stuck, uncertain place that this idea of trusting the journey comes in. It suggests a shift, a different way to look at it.
Okay, a shift, like changing how you hold the steering wheel.
That's a good way to put it. Instead of gripping it super tight, trying to control every little swerve, anticipating every
You
pothole.
kinda let go a bit.
Yeah. You consciously release that intense need to have everything figured out, to control every single outcome. You surrender a little.
But that doesn't mean just giving up and doing nothing, right?
No, absolutely not. That's key. The sources really stress this. Trusting the journey isn't about being passive, it's about taking the next step,
The next logical step.
the one that feels right now. But doing it with this underlying faith that the path will become clearer as you move forward. It's action plus trust in the process.
Okay. Action plus trust. And part of that trust involves, well, this common idea that maybe everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Even the stuff that feels totally random or unfair, or even devastating at the time.
That's a big leap for some people, though.
It can be, but it's about trying to reframe things.
Yeah.
Looking at setbacks not just as failures, but as maybe learning experiences or necessary detours.
Detours that eventually lead you somewhere important.
Potentially. When you approach things with that baseline of trust, challenges start to look less like walls and more like signposts, even if you can't read the sign right away.
So choosing to trust helps dial down that internal fight, that wrestling match with reality.
Yeah, you stop struggling against the current so much and you start trying to move with it, even if it's choppy.
That makes sense. Less resistance.
Exactly. Fighting reality burns so much energy. Trust lets you conserve that energy, use it to navigate instead of just battle.
And it's okay not to have all the answers figured out right now.
Totally. Okay, life rarely gives you the full map up front, does it? Most sources agree on that.
No, it really doesn't. And this is where it gets kind of cool. This idea that if you can lean into that trust, that feeling of being guided somehow, it could actually open things up. Like unexpected opportunities might just appear. Or you meet people you wouldn't have otherwise.
Uh-huh.
And suddenly a path starts to take shape that you couldn't have planned.
Which brings us nicely to that phrase, the universe has your back.
Right. Which, okay, can sound a bit new agey or maybe abstract for some.
It can, but if you look at the themes in a lot of this personal growth stuff, it seems to point beyond just, positive thinking. It's more like a reminder that there could be supportive forces at work.
That regardless of your specific beliefs, right? Like whether you think it's God or fate or just your own energy interacting with the world.
Precisely. The core idea is that there's often a flow, a dynamic process happening that can ultimately work out for our good, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment.
And leaning into that trust, however you understand it personally, can bring some real peace, some clarity when things feel murky.
It shifts you from feeling like you're struggling all alone to feeling like you're part of something bigger, some interconnected flow.
And everything's always changing, isn't it? The world, us, it's constant evolution.
Absolutely. And that mirrors our own growth. So what feels like a setback or like you're just stuck spinning your wheels,
Yeah.
it might actually be a necessary pause, a recalibration, a redirection that's setting you up for something better aligned down the road.
So setbacks aren't failures. They're feedback, nudges.
Could be valuable feedback, steering you towards something more authentic, maybe more fulfilling. Challenges are often the very things that push us to grow the most.
That makes you think. Looking back at big hurdles in your own life,
Yeah.
what did you learn from getting through them?
Exactly. It's like life has its own syllabus for us, even if we don't get the lesson plan ahead of time.
And the idea is we're being guided,
Yeah.
subtly or maybe not so subtly sometimes.
Towards our purpose, even if we have no clue what that purpose is right now.
And as you start to practice this trust, you might notice things,
Yeah.
little signs.
You might. Like the right person shows up just when you need them. Or an unexpected door opens, or maybe just a deeper feeling inside, like, okay, I'm not doing this totally alone. A sense of inner peace.
Okay, conceptually, this is landing.
Yeah.
But how do we actually do it? How do we build that trust muscle, especially when we're feeling shaky and anything but supported?
Yeah, the practical side, that's crucial. And the resources offer some solid steps. First one, try letting go of perfectionism.
Oof, that's a big one for a lot of people.
It is. We get so hung up on controlling every tiny detail, making everything perfect, and it just creates stress.
So accept that imperfection is just part of it. The messiness is okay.
Exactly. You don't need the whole plan. Things won't go exactly like you imagine, and that's all right. It's part of the journey.
Okay, step one, ease up on perfection. What's next?
Practice patience actively. Trust isn't a switch you flip. It grows over time.
Right, like building any relationship maybe.
Kinda. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with how things unfold. Trust that things are moving at the right speed, even if it feels slow.
Patience is tough when you really want things to change, though.
So true. But forcing it often backfires. Which leads to the next step. Mindfulness.
Being present. Focusing on right here, right now.
Precisely. Our minds love to dwell on the past or worry about the future, right?
Constantly.
Mindfulness helps anchor us in the present. That reduces the fear, the anxiety, and it makes us more open to what's actually happening now. The opportunities, the lessons right in front of us.
Okay, mindfulness. And the next one you mentioned, embracing uncertainty. That sounds counterintuitive.
It does, doesn't it? We're wired to fear the unknown. But what if we reframed it?
How?
Intentionally see uncertainty not as a threat, but as potential, as a space where anything could happen.
Possibility.
Yeah. Recognize that the unknown holds possibilities you can't even conceive of right now. Often, the best stuff, the biggest growth, happens in those unexpected twists and turns.
Okay, trying to lean into the unknown instead of fighting it.
Yeah.
Got it. And the last point, something about affirmations.
Right. Using your own inner dialogue. The power of affirmations to reinforce trust.
Like telling yourself, I trust the process.
Exactly. Or the universe has my back,
Right.
if that resonates. Or even just, I trust this journey even if I can't see the full picture right now.
Does repeating that actually help?
The idea is that repeating them consistently with feeling can help rewire some of those limiting beliefs we hold. It strengthens that underlying faith. It's about actively cultivating a trusting mindset.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Our deep dive suggests trusting the journey isn't about just sitting back and hoping for the best.
No, it's an active choice, a shift in how you see things.
It's about consciously letting go of that need for total control. Yeah.
And embracing the uncertainty. That's just part of life. Cultivating that deeper faith that even when it's tough, there's support there for your growth, for your well-being.
And fundamentally, maybe it's about appreciating the ride itself, not just waiting to get to the destination.
That's a great way to put it. When you cultivate that trust, it opens you up to more peace inside, to more possibilities outside.
And a final reminder,
Huh?
your journey is yours alone. It's unique.
And it's unfolding exactly as it needs to in its own time, even when it really doesn't feel like it.
Believing you're supported, you're capable, and you're okay right where you are, that's pretty powerful.
It really is. And maybe a final thought for everyone listening to chew on. Can you think of a time in your own life when something felt like a total disaster, a real setback?
Yeah.
But looking back now, you can see how it actually led to something good, something unexpected and positive.
Reflecting on that pattern. How maybe a perceived negative turned into a positive.
Exactly. Thinking about that might just offer a different lens for looking at whatever challenges you're facing right now.
Definitely some good food for thought there. Thanks for exploring that with me.
My pleasure.
And to everyone listening, keep exploring your own journey. Be kind to yourselves out there. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.